made a couple of videos about Mike Mentzer lately and people seem to watch them, so why the hell wouldn't I make more? But this isn't just crappy content for the sake of crappy content. This is a comment, an observation that came up several times, and that comment is this: was Mike Mentzer actually full of shit? Now, for anyone who saw my other videos, go check them out if you haven't. I clearly stated that my observations, my interpretations of HIIT training, of Mike Mentzer's philosophies, weren't really so focused on copying his workouts to a T. It was more about examining the philosophy, identifying the pros, and applying the parts that I like to my own training. As I was stating that, there were actually several people who pointed out in the comments that Mike wasn't exactly who he claimed to be. And I was a little bit surprised to hear this. Some people believe that he was actually a double agent spy working for the Soviets who was sent to the USA as a mole in order to promote what they believe to be an ineffective training philosophy, that being HIIT training, because they saw how popular and how effective volume training was getting due to Arnold's impact, and therefore set the Soviets up in a stronger position if there was eventually a World War III. No, I'm joking. It's that sort of weird humour that loses me viewers. So all jokes aside, geezers, all hilarious jokes aside, people were questioning whether Mike himself actually trained the way he promoted, or whether it was just some clever, crazy marketing scheme suggesting that his personal success was down to something that was so against the grain at the time that it would ultimately set him up as a fitness maverick, and therefore he would be able to sell more fitness programs. Now look, personally, I don't even care. I think HIIT training can be a brilliant tool, a brilliant method to add to your fitness arsenal. But I also believe you don't need to marry yourself exclusively to one philosophy and then just dismiss everything else. Having said that, there was one line at the end of one of Mentzer's videos where he does seemingly call Arnold out.
I see certain people who have been training at Gold's Gym in Venice, California for hours every day for years. If achieving a pump was a surefire indication that growth was stimulated, these people would have 28-inch arms by now, as they get pumped every time they work out.
So I guess the question becomes, during their respective preps for the 1980 Olympia, where they were competing against each other, Arnold's final Olympia, Arnold's final win, and also Arnold's most controversial win, whilst Arnold presumably stuck to his usual high volume 6 days a week training philosophy in order to get himself ready for that competition, did Mentzer, on the contrary, actually train, let's say, once or twice a week? And during the thick of their prep, if you do the math, that means that whilst Arnold was training, let's say, 24 days a month, 6 days a week, 4 weeks in a month, Mentzer would have only been training 6 to 8 times. It's really fascinating to think about that. And yes, before someone points it out, I understand that being enhanced changes the game when it comes to recovery. But what is interesting about that is that I actually heard another interview where Dorian Yates was reflecting on his first Olympia win. Apparently at that time, after win number 1, he consulted Mike and asked how he would suggest taking his physique to the next level. And guess what Mike's answer was? Focus on recovery even more.
1 month after the 1992 Mr. Olympia, which according to all reports he won easily, Dorian was back in Gold's Gym during a stop on an exhibition tour. Convinced that the abbreviated system had helped him gain more muscle and win the Mr. Olympia, he asked me for further advice on how he could continue with even greater progress for the 1993 Mr. Olympia. The question, Dorian, is how brief and infrequent should exercise be? Break away entirely from tradition and find out for yourself how little training is really required. The question should not have been how much exercise do we need, but how little do we require.
Fascinating stuff, eh lads? Fascinating stuff. And hey, I am not a bodybuilding historian. I am simply a nobody on YouTube making videos about things that I'm interested in. If you're interested too, if you've got any other information, if there's anything I've missed out, feel free to drop it down below because I'm always happy to learn more myself. In conclusion, geezers, there is no doubt that HIIT training works. There is no doubt that it is effective. But the question I'm posing to you at the end of this video is, was Mentzer actually practicing what he preached? Did he achieve this physique by using the exact methods he recommends. Like, comment, subscribe, etc. guys. Thank you for watching as always, and until the next one, bye bye.